Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is a morning update. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Judge Preska will be having a telephone conference with Ghislaine Maxwell and Virginia Roberts' lawyers in regards to the documents from the defamation case. Now, I'm very, very interested to see what comes out of this telephone conference. And I'm interested to see if we get a document dump relatively soon after this conference is over. You would think that the dump is coming very soon, considering that Judge Preska has had this information. She's contacted some of the people that were named in the documents. And now she's having this telephone interview with the law team of Ghislaine Maxwell and with Virginia Roberts' lawyers. So I have to think that there's going to be a little movement here. And I think that Preska is going to continue on the path that she has been on. And she is going to release these documents. Now, again, the question will be, just how much transparency will there be? Will there be a bunch of redactions? Will it be hard to make heads of tails of these of the documents that are dumped, etc., etc.? I hope for a very lightly redacted trove of information, but when it comes to this case and when it comes to the Department of Justice and the judges, etc., etc., I really don't have any faith that things are going to move in the proper direction until I actually see that start to occur. So I remain skeptical, like always, folks. I don't ever, it's hard to look at this case and feel confident that things are going to break in a way you think they're going to break, because this case is filled with twists, turns, corkscrews, loops, and drops. Every time we start to wrap our heads around it a little bit, something new pops up. And that's just how this case is. So until we see these documents, until Judge Preska releases these documents and we see that they're not redacted or anything like that, there will definitely be a part of me that's completely skeptical about this whole thing. But with that said, it does look like Preska is moving towards a big, gigantic information dump here. And from what I've heard, that is most certainly the direction she is moving. So let's hope that is the case, and let's hope we get a little bit more information tomorrow after they have their telephone conference. So I will keep my eye on the news tomorrow, and as soon as we have something to report about what occurred during that phone conference, I will make sure that we make an episode, drop a segment, and cover that as completely as possible. Now, for today, we have an article from the Express, and it's about our good friend, the Joe Exotic of the Windsor family. Now, with what's going on in America, Prince Andrew was probably fist-pumping like Paulie D when he heard that Berman was gone, thinking that was going to be the end of it for him. Well, he's wrong. You see, the pressure is not from Berman. The pressure is not even from the Justice Department at this point. The pressure is from the people. And the people are going nowhere, Prince of Toads. So if you think that you're going to be able to avoid speaking to prosecutors because Trump and Barr are screwing around and Berman is gone, you're wrong, because the wheels of justice continue to grind on. And even if the Justice Department is an absolute dumpster fire, the citizens of not only the United States, but the citizens of the world demand justice in this case. And that is exactly what we're going to keep pressuring these so-called prosecutors to bring us: justice. And until these people are brought to justice, we will keep on keeping on raising the flags of discontent and screaming from every single mountaintop about so-called polite society and their simple disregard for anybody who is not part of their club. All right, so the headline today is Prince Andrew told not to hide like a coward and face the FBI by a U.S. lawyer. That's good advice. I think that the lawyer who is giving him this advice, Spencer Kuvin, is doing him a solid. Because guess what? At the end of the day, the Joe Exotic of the Windsor family is certainly not doing himself any favors hiding in his holes, not answering any questions, and cowering behind mummy's skirts. Man up. Do the honorable thing. Play with a straight bat. But he doesn't want to do any of that. He's not honorable. As Virginia Roberts coined him, he is absolutely a toad. Attorney Spencer Kuvin, who represents 3 Epstein survivors, made a direct appeal for the Duke to cooperate. Before we go any further, this article was authored by Mike Parker. In an exclusive interview with the Sunday Express, he said, "My advice to him, as a human being, is to step up, be a man, and give whatever information he can to help bring co-conspirators to justice." Now, this is what everybody's been calling for from this coward for years now, decades in some cases. And meanwhile, for the span of 4 different presidencies, Jeffrey Epstein, Prince Andrew, Ghislaine Maxwell, Jean-Luc Brunel, Sarah Kellen Vickers, etc., were able to move and operate however they saw fit, right under the nose of 4 different administrations. Think about that for a moment, folks, okay? The next time you want to get into one of your little tribalistic meltdowns on either side of the aisle, think about it. 4 different administrations. None of them care. None of them wanted to pursue justice. All of them ignored the survivors and what the survivors were saying because they knew that the means justified the end for their buddies in intelligence. How sick and pathetic is that when a human trafficking ring takes precedence over the truth? And that's just point blank period. That's just the way it is. You're telling me 4 administrations had no idea, huh? 4 administrations had no clue what was going on. You mean to tell me Bill Clinton had no idea? Okay. Don't hide in your bunker like a whimpering coward. He also warned that Prince Andrew would be insanely stupid to try to travel to America if he fails to answer questions from federal agents. That's for sure. I already told you. We have something called the citizen's arrest in America. This dude shows up in America at an airport I'm at. I'm bringing him in. I'm showing up like RoboCop. I mean, all kidding aside, he really should not come to the United States. If he does, he will get swooped up 100%, and he will have to answer some insanely, ridiculously hard questions at that point. His best option, if I was the one giving him advice, and I most certainly am not, but if I was giving him advice, his best option, in my opinion, would be a written statement. The only way that he could weasel his way out of this somehow is with a written statement. Because if he gives a verbal statement, a verbal interview, and they have a chance to cross-examine him, he's going to wither under the pressure. I don't know how many times I have to say this, but these people are not built for this. Oh, sure, they're built to play the game, right? They're built to do the crime. They're built to be involved in all of these disgusting, despicable behavior. But when the bell tolls and it's time to face the music, none of these people are built for that. You think these people are built for federal prison? Any of them? They are not built for that. So, when the pressure comes, when the RICO case begins to fall down around their ears and the predicates and the indictments begin, none of these people are going to be able to keep their mouths shut. That, my friends, is a guarantee. Florida-based Mr. Kuvin added, If he were to set foot anywhere in America or on U.S. territory, it would be like poking the bear. He could be arrested for failing to cooperate, and that's for sure. If you're compelled by the government to cooperate and they try to, track you down and you still don't cooperate, et cetera, well, they'll find a way to get you to cooperate. They'll find a way to compel you to cooperate. Oh, you had a jaywalking ticket 3 years ago you didn't pay? My man, you're in our custody. And that's what they do. That's why I find it so laughable when we don't see people like Kellen Vickers or Leslie Groff or Adriana Ross or Ghislaine Maxwell or Jean-Luc Brunel or any of these people getting arrested. Because normal folks, forget it. They will get you on something. If they can't nail you on the human trafficking, they'll get you on money crimes. Look at Al Capone. They tried to get him for all sorts of homicides and murders and mayhem. And what did they get him on? Tax evasion. 11 years on tax evasion. But at the end of the day, he was off of the street, right? And that's what I'm looking for here in this case. I want these people off of the street. There is zero chance these people were not involved with money crimes, money fraud, wire fraud, laundering, all of it. And to see them still running around, nobody in trouble. The only two people arrested are two lowly prison guards who supposedly fell asleep the night Epstein supposedly killed himself. You mean to tell me that's justice? You mean to tell me that I should not be mocking the Department of Justice and Darth Barr? It should be mocked, and it should be mocked mercilessly until it gets fixed. Because, folks, this is no good. The whole entire system is absolutely broken. Mr. Kuvin spoke out after the U.S. Department of Justice filed a formal request to the Home Office for help to question the prince. It is aimed at forcing him to answer questions about his ties to pedophile Epstein, who was found hanged in his jail cell last August, age 66. Andrew's lawyers blasted back, saying he had offered 3 times to be a witness, and it was entirely misleading to claim he had given zero cooperation to the FBI. Again, we're dealing with two scorpions, in my opinion, right? If you're the frog, you can't give either of these people a ride across the little lake here because they're going to sting you even if they say they won't. You know why? Because it's in their nature. And the same goes for the Justice Department and Andrew's lawyers. They're all liars, in my opinion. There's not an honest one amongst the group. And I can say that with some confidence about how the prosecutors work in this country. They're not, I don't trust them to tell the truth. The police can straight up lie to you, right? They don't have to tell you the truth when you're being investigated or anything like that. They're not under any sort of restriction to be honest. You, on the other hand, you better be as honest as possible if you're going to run your fat yap. My advice? Say nothing and wait for a lawyer. They also accused U.S. officials, including New York State Attorney Jeffrey Berman, of mounting a cynical publicity stunt, telling lies and misleading the public. And now Berman's gone, huh? I know there's some people thinking that there's been some pressure maybe by Buckingham Palace to get rid of Berman. I don't know if any of that's true. I don't have any evidence of that. But look, I don't know if it's not true either. I'm very agnostic about everything in this case. Until I have evidence proving one way or the other about things in this case, I'm very open to whatever people might bring forward. I don't just discount anything out of hand at this point, because this case is just filled with all sorts of crazy, crazy shit. The row exploded after a 5-month standoff between the 60-year-old prince and the FBI after he had vowed to help any appropriate law enforcement agency with their investigations into Epstein during a disastrous BBC Newsnight interview. And disastrous is an understatement, right? That was an absolute horrible Hindenburg-level interview. Andrew was always categorically denied any wrongdoing and said he never even met Virginia Roberts, who claims Epstein ordered her to have sex with the royal on 3 occasions. Yeah, no, they've never met. This picture here, you're imagining that. You've never seen that. Stop it. I'm Prince Andrew. I'm telling you what you should see and what you shouldn't see. That picture is not me. My fingers are too fat. Shut up. Please, just shut your stupid yap. Now, however, American lawyers representing dozens of alleged survivors aim to turn up the pressure on Andrew in hope he may provide key evidence, not just about Epstein, but also relating to British socialite and co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell. In my opinion, Ghislaine Maxwell is the crown jewel right now. She's the one that needs to take the brunt of the justice here. She was the one that was co-conspiring with Jeffrey Epstein. She was running things from behind the scenes. She was part of this whole entire intelligence operation. She should hold the bag. Guess what? If the boss gets clipped, then the underboss is the one who steps into the void. And that's what's going on here, in my opinion. Maxwell should be hit with all sorts of RICO charges, and all of them should include a leadership role, which enhances your sentence, by the way. She allegedly procured a stream of schoolgirls for the financier, pedophile, and has been in hiding since his death. Meanwhile, Epstein's former butler has also claimed Prince Andrew spent weeks at the pervert's mansion in Palm Beach, Florida during 2001. And we also know, I confirmed this with sources of my own, in Santa Fe when I was down there at Zorro Ranch. He was also at Zorro Ranch. Along with Bill Clinton, by the way, and good old Hillary Clinton as well. Juan Alessi, 70, who unlike the prince has been interviewed by the FBI, claims the estate was full of nude pictures of young girls and you would need to be blind not to see them. Well, that's for sure. And that goes for all of his sick and twisted friends and enablers that showed up there, hung out at his house, went to dinners, went to parties, went and high-fived with the old princey boy, got their feet massaged, hung out with Alan, I kept my underpants on Dershowitz, or were hanging out in Glenn Dubin's kitchen. Any of you people must be questioned, and if you had any involvement whatsoever from a financial perspective or otherwise, well, you must eat RICO charges. It's the only way. See, if you don't compel these people to start ratting on each other and start turning state's evidence, then you're never ever going to get to the bottom of this. The prosecutors know that. And for Darth Barr to give us only the 2 arrests of the lowly jail guards, it is a travesty. And frankly, I'm not going to just sit here and put up with it without asking questions and demanding answers, because this is an absolute joke, okay? The SDNY is an absolute dumpster fire. This case, the Jeffrey Epstein case, should be kicked to a different district court at this point until these scumbags can get their story straight, get their office in order. I mean, go ahead and give Chuck Rhodes a call. Maybe he'll come in and help you guys out, because what's going on over there right now is an absolute joke. An absolute joke. The Justice Department is an embarrassment. They're an embarrassment to the nation. They're an embarrassment to the citizens. And they are most certainly an embarrassment to themselves. Do your jobs. If you'd like to contact me, you can do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI@protonmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter at BOBBY_CAPUCCI. All right, everybody. The description, inside the description box, you will be able to find the link like usual and all of the other stuff. I will be back later on with the Daily Drop, and we'll do it all over again.